Hey everyone, Patrick here with Armor Tools. Now we always get the question, what's the difference between your clamps and the competing clamps? The answer is simple, yet still complicated, so we wanted to give you a complete explanation. Essentially, the bodies of these clamps are the same and made of the same material. It all comes down to the technology within the clamping mechanism. We use a cam lock system, while the competing clamps use a wedge lock system. But the differences between these two technologies are vast and can not only affect the performance of the clamp, but the lifespan itself. Let's start with the wedge lock system. The wedge lock system has been around for a while now. Actually, it's been around since as early as the 1970s, but it really hasn't changed much since then. The design is completely based on friction, meaning the clamp uses friction to create a pivot point and apply clamping pressure. Imagine this, two metal wedges sliding against each other when you're opening and closing their clamp. These wedges slide against each other until they find a friction point or a catch point. When that catch point is met, the leverage from that point is then applied. That leverage delivers the pressure when you close your clamp. This causes two major issues. One is that friction point is not the same every time. This leads to inconsistencies in clamping pressures and increased application pressures, meaning you have to squeeze harder to get the clamp to close, especially as the material gets thicker. And two, imagine all that friction repeated over and over. Like anything, consistent friction over time is going to degrade the quality and result in inconsistency. So that clamp is going to get harder and harder and be much less reliable. This is when you'll start to experience misfires or binding, or even both. So here's our wedge lock system clamp. One of the first differences you'll notice is the huge reach, which makes it difficult to use one-handed. I actually have to use two hands to close it when it's fully open. So let's start clamping. So as you see here, I'm clamping one block. Got a nice clamp on that, and we'll try it again. That time, it completely misfired and didn't clamp. Now let's try two. And there's another total misfire, and that time it clamps. So you can see here some of the inconsistency. Now let's talk about the cam lock system. Cams aren't exactly a new technology. They've been around for a while now, but they've mostly been used in high-performance machinery like engines. So Armor has patented this technology into all their clamps. But what does this exactly mean? Armor's clamps use a steel cam lock that has a fixed catch point. Unlike other clamps that rely on you to create a catch point, Armor has carefully engineered the contact point. This creates a smooth clamping action with consistency and reliability when you clamp. Imagine the cam is a precise egg-shaped, high-strength piece of steel that pivots around a set point. When you open and close your clamp, the cam latches onto the bar at the specified contact point every time. So you aren't hoping to create a catch point, the catch point is already set. Now as you adjust the pressure knob on the clamp, it's simply rotating the cam to change the contact point of the egg against the bar, thus altering the clamping pressure. This locks everything in place consistently no matter the thickness of material, so you'll get the same clamping pressure every single time. So here we have the wedge lock system set to a medium pressure. You can see it's nice and easy to open and close. Here's Armor Tools cam lock system. Again, to the same pressure. Nice, easy to open and close. Now let's clamp these three blocks. As you can see with the wedge lock system, when you increase the material thickness, you increase the application pressure. I can't close that at all. Now with Armor's cam lock system, clamping these three blocks, it's that simple. Nice and easy. All right, now let's check the consistency of the pressure of the wedge lock system. 73, 44, and 36. So we're kind of all over the place there. Back up to 78. All right, let's clamp a block of wood. We have a misfire there actually. Let me clamp that one more time. And another misfire. So Let's clamp with Armor's cam lock system. Let's check the consistency of this pressure. So, have 46, 48, good there. Nice, consistent across the board. Clamps easily every time. On a side note, Armor's actually been making clamps for a really long time. They've allowed some of the most popular clamping brands to license the cam lock design. Ultimately, the Armor team reclaimed the license to start what we now see, the Armor tool line featuring the patented cam lock technology. I hope this has answered some of your questions and you've learned something about clamping technology today. So whenever you go to buy your next clamp, remember, consistency is in the cam and the cam is in Armor tools. So if you've experienced any of the problems that we've talked about today with your automatically adjusting clamps and would like to exchange your wedge lock clamp for one of Armor's cam lock clamps, follow the link below for more details on the Armor Clamp Crash Exchange program. Thank you, and as always, arm your shop with Armor tools.